So we're going to look at the pet-friendly garden, and I'm going to talk you through all of the elements within the garden and why I chose those materials. So over here we have our lovely selection of herbs and different types of fruits. This is a touch to the Carnilove ingredients. So we've got wild strawberries in this one, which are nice, delicious and sweet. We've got rosemary in here and lemon scented thyme, which is personally one of my favorites. Down the path, both borders of the garden are surrounded by sensory plants and plants that are good for cats and dogs. So we've got Osmanthus burkwoodii here. The thing I love about this plant, this shrub, is it's multi-stemmed. It will grow to around 3 meters if you let it, or you can train it to around 1.8 meters. And what's amazing about it for dogs and cats is it provides a structure for them to climb up, which again, if you're thinking about plants for the garden or you're thinking about plants for animals, then having something like a multi-stemmed hardy shrub is a good option to go for. All of these plants are pretty much bomb-proof. Obviously things like the geranium down here will get trampled a little bit, but they're hardy and tough and they will bounce back. So these are all sensory type plants, scented as well. The Osmanthus flowers in spring and it has a lovely scent. So as the dogs or the cats or whatever animals you have in your garden walk down this path, they'll have a journey, but they'll also have their heightened senses as well. So there's 2 terraces. We've got this terrace, which is sort of this corner sofa seating area. And then we have the main terrace over there. Both terraces, both patios are made from premium porcelain. And the reason I chose porcelain for this garden is because it's a very, very good option if you have pets. It's stain resistant, it's scratch resistant, it's non-slip. It also doesn't conduct heat like other natural stones. So in the height of the summer, if your dogs are walking on this, they won't scorch their pads, which is really important. So this is the central focal point. This is a water table. It's a Corten steel water table. It's not there for dogs to drink out of. We're surrounding it with planting, so it acts as a little barrier, but the sound of water creates a lovely ambience, and it's a really calming thing for both humans and for pets to enjoy. So just having that vibe is really good if you have a pet-friendly garden. The other great thing about this is it's not deep. So if your dog decides to jump in it, they're not going to struggle to get out. It's just a water table. It's very shallow. So it's there as just a nice feature to add that tranquility. The other great thing about this feature is birds come in, they duck and dive, they sit in there, which provides visual stimulation for your pets as well. In this bed, we have some tall grasses. These will grow to around 6 foot, so they'll grow the height of the fence. And grasses, for dogs especially, creates that visual interest. They sway in the winds, they provide that movement, and they also have that sort of tactile feeling for them. So if you have a small dog, they like to meander through grasses. So if you plant them in drifts or you plant them in swathes, you can create a little journey through a border. Obviously, if you have big borders, you can create quite an adventure. If you're looking to add different types of plants to your garden that provide visual stimulation, then these ones are a great option for you. If you've got trees and you're staking trees, you would normally do it with a post like this, maybe slightly thinner. But to make it sort of multi-purpose, if you have cats especially, you can wrap sisal around it and it acts as a scratch post, but it's also acting as a practical tree stake as well. So sometimes you can get 2 uses out of one very simple feature like that. One of the first places to start when you're creating a pet-friendly garden is the boundaries. The boundaries are really important. You want to make sure you have good, secure boundaries. Fences like this are absolutely fine, if not secure hedges, as you don't want any escapees. So moving through the garden, we went from the porcelain paved area to this secondary path. So this is made from large gravel chippings. It's worth mentioning that if you do put gravel down in your garden, going for a finer gravel, 10 millimeters or smaller, can actually act as a choking hazard for your dogs. So if you choose larger stones like this, 20 to 40 millimeters, they're less likely to pick them up, swallow them, and they're also less likely to dig them around and use them as a litter tray. So if you're doing gravel paths, my advice would be to pick larger stones like this one. So moving on to this area, this is actually a very simple shade bed. And what we've done is we've actually lifted the canopy of this lilac. So we've got in there and we pruned all of the undergrowth here, and it's created this natural shade shelter. You don't actually need this because dogs can go and find themselves some shade in the garden naturally anyway. But if you have trees, if you have mature shrubs like this, it's very simple to just get in there with a pruning saw. Obviously, it depends on the type of plant it is, but for most hardy trees and shrubs, you can lift the canopy like that and create a lovely natural shade shelter underneath. Another quite quirky, adventurous thing to add in the garden is a cat ladder. Cats like to run around, they like to climb on fences, and they like to climb up trees. This is actually an old bit of trellis, and what we've done is we've just pointed it. We've almost staked this tree up like this, but pointed it in the direction so they can get in and out very easily without damaging their joints. For my dog, for little Dasher, we always need a green space, an area where he can run around and play. So it's really important that we had a lawn in this garden. This lawn is made from perennial ryegrass. It's a pretty strong rye mix. So it's a very, very tough grass, and it's resilient to hard wearing use. So if you're going to go for a natural lawn, I would recommend going for a lawn that has a strong content of rye, as it will be very durable for all of that adventure and all of that play for your pets. A common misconception is that artificial lawns are a good choice for pets. Now, that may be true in the case of drainage, but artificial turf isn't a natural product. It's got harmful toxins within it. So my thoughts are, deal with the yellow patches. Yes, there might be a little bit of roughed up turf here and there, but you can overseed it, you can look after it if you just have a good lawn care routine. Another thing you can do in a pet-friendly garden is raise the heights of the planting. If you don't want your plants getting battered and bruised, which they naturally will do if you have dogs and cats, then by raising the planting, you can stop that from happening. So you can do that with pots, or you can do that with raised beds. Dog wash areas are becoming more and more important for animal owners. So you can create a specific dog wash area like this. This is a DIY dog wash with an old Belfast sink and a pallet underneath. You can have a cold tap, you can have a hot tap. You can really make it as fancy or as rustic as you like. It's just nice to have a segmented area to wash those muddy paws after a dog walk.